大家好, hello everyone. Today, I'm really excited because I'm gonna do the wheel stud conversion on my E91 wagon. From the factory, BMW uses wheel bolts instead of lug nuts. That makes removing and installing the wheel just a little bit more difficult. And also, I've heard that if you go to track days, some organizers require studs and lug nuts for improved wheel hub connection. I don't know if that's true, and honestly speaking, I don't remove and install my wheels that often. But I just think stud conversion is such a cool thing to do. So I've got the studs here, and these are the lug nuts we are going to install. They are Mishimoto aluminum studs, and they are really light. And this is a special key for one of the security studs. Let's do it! So this is the factory wheel bolt. As you can see, the wheel bolt is actually not that bad of a deal because the lip on the hub is enough to hold the wheel and tire in. And also, you can get a special tool called a guide pin that you can install prior to installing your wheel to hold your wheel temporarily in place. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are thinking it's not safe to support the car with just one hydraulic jack, I have a jack stand in the back as a fail-safe, and I'm not getting under the car, so everything is good. Now here is the stud. The manufacturer of this stud, which is ECS, they recommend 15 Newton meters of torque going into the hub. For some other manufacturers, I have seen 25. So I'm gonna go to the middle ground, 20 Newton meters, and I'll let you guys know if anything bad happens. Hopefully not. So I'm gonna put a dab of thread locker onto the wheel stud and screw it in. The stud can be tightened using a 5mm Allen key. Now let's reinstall the wheels. Alright, the new lug nuts are 19mm. Why am I doing this? Alright, the lug nuts stick out a little too far long than I'm liking, but I got new wheels and tires coming, so I'll see how it looks on the new wheels and tires. If it still looks horrendous like this, I may replace them with smaller lugs. Luckily with the stud conversion, that's a pretty easy thing to do. Today I'm super excited because we are gonna unbox the new set of wheels for my E91 wagon. Ta-da! Here it is. These are the Apex EC7 flow-formed wheels. It's so satisfying to peel off the plastic sheet. So satisfying. This episode is not sponsored by Apex, but I do like their flow-formed wheels. They have a good value in my opinion, but I could be wrong. I'm new to the modification world. But I do like their design. They have a lot of technical information on their website. It's an 18-inch wheel, but they say they will clear the typical BBKs on the market, such as the StopTech kits and the BMW M big brake kits. Okay, quick disclaimer here. Obviously, the clearance will depend on the wheel that you choose and the BBK that you choose. So for example, the Arc 8 model offered by Apex typically have less clearance than the EC7 model. And also it depends on the specific wheel spec. So my wheel spec is a 18x9 ET31, and if your wheels are smaller diameter or is different offset, that may affect the clearance as well. As for the BB case, the StopTech kit that I researched is a 355mm kit, and the 18-inch EC7 will clear that kit with no issue. The BMW M kit is a 370mm kit, and the representative from Apex did advise me that the clearance for that kit depends on the specific wheel. And as far as the representative's experience, no one has been running the exact same fitment on my vehicle, so I will advise later in my channel how the clearance goes. My tires are 255/35 R18s. This pretty much maximizes the clearance on my LCI E91 wagon. So compared to the pre-LCI model, the sedans and wagons, or E90s and E91s, the rear track was increased by 8mm. So if you install a square setup on the LCI sedans and wagons, the wheels are gonna be at about the same level versus the pre-LCI models where the rear wheels will be tucked in a little bit more than the front wheels. This change does not apply to the coupe and convertible models or E92 and E93s as far as I can tell. So with my setup, my front tire is pretty much flush with the fender, and the inside clearance is super tight. So I can barely stick my finger between the shock and the tire, as you can see on this photo. So I estimate my inside clearance to be maybe a quarter to half an inch or 6 to 12mm or thereabout. I did jack up the wheel and also turn the wheel from lock to lock to make sure it doesn't rub in every position, and it seems it doesn't rub, although the clearance is super tight. So the key to the big brake clearance are twofold. One of them is the back spacing of the spokes. You need to make sure you have enough side clearance to clear the calipers. The other one is the barrel design. You need to make sure you have clearance for the top side of the caliper, if that makes sense. These are flow-formed wheels. I'm sure a lot of you already know the difference between the cast wheels, flow-form wheels, and forged wheels. There's a ton of information on the internet, so if you Google that, there's some very good explanations, probably better than what I can explain. But in a nutshell, flow-formed wheels sits in between cast wheels and forged wheels. They are not as strong as forged wheels, but they are stronger than cast wheels. And since making them doesn't require a crazy press, it's cheaper than the forged wheels. So there you have it. These are the new wheels. I can't wait to put them on the car. I've got my wheels and tires installed on my car. I couldn't be more satisfied with how it turned out. I think the wheels and tires looks perfect. Even the lug nuts. Previously I was a little concerned how they will look on the new wheels, because honestly speaking they don't look too hard on the OEM wheels. But I think with the Apex EC7, the lug nuts also looks perfect. That's it for today's video. I'll see you next time, and happy DIYing. Also, at the meantime, enjoy some of the photos I took outside. 再见。